Cold emailing is the fastest way to get clients for most freelancers. But if you're trying to land retainers for stable income, your strategy needs to look different from most of the advice out there. Because you're not just trying to make a quick buck, you're trying to build a relationship. This is the strategy I used to lock in long-term high-ticket contracts, including one that's generated over $200,000 and counting. The first thing I did was research. I researched my prospects before reaching out so that I could personalize every message. I'm a marketer, so for me, research meant looking at their online presence. And I kept detailed notes for every lead. Now you might be thinking, that's not scalable. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be scalable. That's the thing about retainers. You only need a few good clients, and then your client roster is full, and you're done cold emailing. The unscalability of this is what makes it so powerful. Now, it's no secret that personalization is the key to cold emailing success, but a lot of people think that personalization just means using the person's name or the name of their business. But that's only a tiny part of it. So before you even open up your email or start prospecting, your goal is to identify what you can audit to get those insights that are going to make them open your email and say, wow, they really get what's going on in my business. This is the level of work that is required to build rapport. And that's why those spray and pray tactics do not work for the retainer model. You don't need to buy 10 domains and start a bunch of different email addresses just to land a few clients if you do your research. Part of that research is also identifying the best person in the business to reach out to. So you're not just contacting the support email or filling out the contact form on their website. Please don't do that, because showing that you understand their business means showing that you understand who you would be reporting to. And it's highly unlikely that you're gonna find these contact details on the company's website. You can definitely look there, but it's much more likely that you're going to find them on hunter.io. Hunter has a massive database for professional contact details. All right, once you have a reason to reach out and you found the best person to contact, it's time to write your outreach message. So many people are focused on the template for cold email, and that can be helpful, but honestly, in this age of AI, what is so much more important is how you frame your message. So no matter which template you use, or if you're using ChatGPT to help you write this, there are two frames that you can leverage. If you're a beginner, frame around the benefit of your service. What will working together help them achieve? And what opportunity gaps can you help them fill? Whereas if you're framing around your experience, you can show off a little. Share your results, name drop past clients, and show that you understand their industry. Then go into your call to action, which in your first email is a soft ask because your goal is just to get them to reply to your email. Are you interested in hearing more? Can I send over some ideas? And no matter how you frame your message, you want to include one or two key details from your research. This could be a missed opportunity that you noticed in their audit, or a result that you got for a similar brand. It could also be something that they're doing really well that you want to recognize and applaud them for, and see if they need help maintaining. That's actually a huge lesson I learned when I was in the cold email trenches and doing a bunch of testing. Just because a business is already doing something and already has support with something doesn't mean that they're completely satisfied or that they don't want to do more of it. One of the brands that I contacted was actually doing a really great job with their editorial content, so much so that they were actually a leader in their space. So when I reached out, I wasn't picking apart what they were doing or telling them that they were doing something wrong. I was actually contacting their editor to thank them and see if they needed any more support. This was actually one of the first clients that I got from cold emailing, and I still work with this client today. And the lifetime value of that client is now over $200,000. That means I've made over 200 grand from that client over time, and it all started with one email. That is the power of putting in the work up front and avoiding shady tactics. And speaking of shady tactics, we need to talk about follow-up. It's pretty unlikely that you are gonna get a response from the first email you send. So you need to follow up, but you also need to be mindful of your reputation. And I don't just mean how others perceive you. I'm talking about your sender reputation. Sender reputation is actually gauged by a score assigned to your email domain by email providers like Google and Outlook. And the more emails that you send that don't get open or engaged with, the lower your reputation score. And the lower that score is, the more likely you are to land in spam folders and never be seen. This is why you'll hear some cold email gurus recommending starting all these different email accounts and getting a bunch of different domains so that you can make sure that you're still showing up in people's inboxes. But here's the thing. When you are strategic about your research and who you are contacting, you are already doing a ton of work to protect your sender reputation. But that doesn't mean you're just going to keep emailing people if they never get back to you. So the rule of thumb is 2 follow-up emails. After you send those 2, you're done. You also don't need to send a huge volume of emails. 20 personalized messages are going to be so much more effective than 100 generic ones. 20 emails a day was my target when I needed to find clients. And while it did take hours to research that many leads, that paid off. I locked in my retainers, and at this point, I haven't had to do cold outreach for years. And that's all because I made sure that I was reaching out to the right businesses to begin with and establishing relationships with businesses where I saw a long-term opportunity to help them. And my roles with these clients have expanded over time. So revenue growth and new opportunities are baked into my business. That's how I went from writing blog articles to managing social media to managing marketing campaigns. But let's back up for a second, because none of these opportunities would have been possible if I didn't have a clear and compelling offer to pitch to begin with. I've actually talked to a few freelancers lately who were struggling with cold emailing, and when I asked them about their offer and their pitch, they didn't really have an offer that they were pitching. It's more that they are saying, these are my skills and how can I help you? Which is not how a premium service provider operates. I show you how to create an offer your ideal clients actually want to buy in this video, so go watch that next to learn how to either create or refine your offer, and then you can stack that onto this outreach strategy to get your retainer business up and running.